All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into something pretty powerful,
Yeah.
using journaling to process trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners have sent in this really awesome blog post called 50 Trauma Journal Prompts,
Okay.
and it's from Lestallion. And I gotta say, I'm already intrigued by this.
Yeah.
It's not just a list of prompts, but it's really like this carefully crafted journey
Right.
through different stages of healing.
I think what's so fascinating about this is how these prompts go beyond just simply recalling events.
Yeah.
They're designed to really help you unravel the impact of the trauma on your thoughts, your feelings, and
Right.
even like your body.
Yes. Like one prompt, ask about the physical sensations you experience
Oh, wow.
when you think about the trauma.
Interesting.
And that's something I hadn't really considered before.
Yeah.
Like this mind-body connection and healing.
Absolutely. It's a crucial aspect.
Yeah.
Trauma isn't just an emotional experience.
Right.
It leaves a real imprint on our physical selves.
No.
And so by tuning into those sensations, you can begin to understand how trauma manifests in your body,
Right.
which is often the first step towards addressing it.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's like those sensations are a language our body uses to communicate about the trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so these 50 prompts are grouped into themes,
Okay.
which I think makes the whole process less overwhelming.
Right.
The first category is all about understanding your trauma.
Got it.
And it feels like the foundation right.
Yeah.
Like before you can even start to heal, you need to kind of understand the what and the how
Mm-hmm.
and the ongoing impact.
Exactly. It's about bringing those experiences out of the shadows and
Yeah.
into the light of awareness.
Right.
One prompt that struck me in this section asks, what is one memory related to your trauma that still feels unresolved?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And, it's often those lingering, unanswered questions that can keep us stuck.
Right. It's like having a puzzle piece that just doesn't quite fit. By exploring that specific memory in your journal, maybe you can start to see the bigger picture, or even connect it to beliefs you hold about yourself or the world today.
Precisely. And another powerful prompt in this category asks about those physical sensations we talked about earlier.
Okay.
What physical sensations do you feel when you think about your trauma?
Mm-hmm.
This encourages you to pay attention to those subtle cues from your body,
Yeah.
which can be incredibly revealing.
It's like your body is holding on to the trauma in a way that your conscious mind
Right.
might not even be aware of.
Exactly.
So by paying attention to those physical sensations, you can start to understand the full impact of the trauma
Mm-hmm.
and work towards releasing that tension.
Absolutely. Now moving on to the next category, processing emotional pain.
Okay.
Trauma often leaves us with a whirlwind of difficult emotions.
Mhm.
Fear, sadness, anger, guilt, shame.
Right.
And if we try to bury those emotions, they can fester and cause even more pain down the road.
That's so true. And this category really emphasizes the importance of acknowledging those emotions,
Yeah.
giving them space to breathe, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
One prompt that really stood out to me asks, what is one emotion you struggled to express related to your trauma?
Ooh.
That could be tough to confront,
Yeah.
but it's probably a sign that there's some deep healing work to be done there.
It's about recognizing that those unexpressed emotions don't just disappear.
Right.
They can manifest in unhealthy ways.
Mm-hmm.
This prompt invites you to explore why you might be holding back.
Yeah.
What fears or beliefs are preventing you from fully expressing yourself?
So by bringing those hidden emotions to the surface,
Exactly.
you can begin to understand them, process them,
Mm.
and ultimately release their hold on you.
Exactly. And another important aspect of processing emotional pain
Yeah.
is finding ways to regulate those intense emotions.
Okay.
There's a prompt in this section that asks, what helps you feel grounded when you're overwhelmed by emotions?
This is where those grounding techniques come in, right?
Exactly.
Like deep breathing,
Yep.
mindfulness exercises, or even just taking a walk in nature.
Absolutely.
It's about having a toolkit of strategies to help you navigate those rough waters.
Exactly. It's about empowering you to take control of your emotional well-being
Mm-hmm.
and finding ways to soothe yourself when those intense emotions arise.
So we've explored understanding your trauma
Right.
and processing emotional pain,
Mm-hmm.
which both feel intensely personal and inward focused.
Yeah.
But then we get to this category about rebuilding trust.
Okay.
And it feels like that's where we start to look outward
Yes.
to our relationships with ourselves and others.
It's a crucial step in the healing journey.
Yeah,
Trauma can shatter our sense of safety and security,
right.
making it difficult to trust ourselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
But rebuilding trust is possible,
Yeah.
and these prompts offer guidance on how to begin that process.
There's one prompt that really struck a chord with me, and it asks, how has your ability to trust yourself changed since experiencing trauma?
Oh, that's a good one.
It makes you think about how trauma can impact our self-esteem and make us doubt our own judgment.
That's a profound observation. Rebuilding trust in ourselves is about reconnecting with our inner voice.
Yeah.
Recognizing our own strengths and resilience,
Right.
and believing in our capacity to make sound decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's about reclaiming that sense of agency
Yeah.
and knowing that we have the power to choose how we move forward.
So, like, trauma can make us feel like we're constantly on edge,
Mm-hmm.
like we can't rely on our own intuition or make good choices.
Right.
But this prompt encourages us to challenge those beliefs.
Yes,
And start to rebuild that foundation of self-trust.
exactly. And then there's another prompt that focuses on rebuilding trust in others.
Okay.
What does trust in others look like for you now?
Mm-hmm.
This invites you to redefine trust based on your own experiences and values.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that trust is earned, not given, and that setting healthy boundaries is essential for protecting ourselves in relationships.
It's like creating a new framework for trust,
Mm-hmm.
one that feels safe and authentic to who you are now.
Yeah.
It's not about forgetting the past,
Right.
but about moving forward with a wiser, more discerning perspective.
And speaking of moving forward, let's delve into the next category,
Okay.
which focuses on letting go and moving forward.
Interesting.
This isn't about erasing the past or pretending it didn't happen,
Right.
but about releasing its grip on your present and future.
One prompt that really resonated with me in this section asks, what is one thing you need to let go of from your trauma?
Ooh.
I think it's so powerful because it forces you to get specific.
Mm-hmm.
What are you clinging to?
Yeah.
What resentment, fear, or anger
Yeah.
is keeping you tethered to the past?
It's about recognizing that holding on to those things can actually hinder our healing.
Right.
Letting go isn't easy, but it's a necessary step towards finding peace and freedom.
I imagine it's like carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks.
Mhm.
You might not even realize how much it's weighing you down until you start to take those rocks out one by one.
That's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And once you start letting go of those burdens, you create space for new experiences, new connections,
Yeah.
and a renewed sense of hope.
Speaking of hope, that leads us beautifully into the next category, embracing, healing, and hope.
Oh, nice.
It feels like this section shifts the focus from darkness to light, from surviving to thriving.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that healing is possible, even after the most traumatic experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's about cultivating a sense of hope, even when things feel challenging,
Right.
and believing in your own capacity to heal and grow.
One prompt that really stood out to me in this section asks, what does healing from trauma mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
I love this because it's so personal.
Yeah.
It invites you to define healing on your own terms,
Right.
to create a vision of what a healed life looks like for you.
It's about reclaiming your story, recognizing your own strength and resilience,
Yeah.
and choosing to focus on the possibility of a brighter future.
There's another prompt in this section that really resonated with me,
Okay.
and it asks, what are 3 things you're hopeful for as you continue your healing journey?
Wow.
I think it's so powerful to shift our focus from what we've lost to what we can gain,
Right.
to those glimmers of hope that can sustain us through difficult times.
Absolutely. Hope is a powerful antidote to despair.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us a reason to keep going even when things feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
By identifying those things we're hopeful for, we're essentially planting seeds of possibility
Right.
and nurturing a sense of optimism about the future.
It's like those little sparks of hope can ignite a fire within us,
Mm.
a fire that can fuel our healing journey and guide us towards a brighter future.
And that's the beauty of these prompts. They offer a framework for exploring our experiences,
Yeah.
processing our emotions, and ultimately reclaiming our lives.
This has been such an insightful exploration of these 50 trauma journaling prompts.
Yeah, it really has.
I'm already feeling inspired to start journaling myself. What about you?
Absolutely. What I find so compelling is how these prompts guide you to become an active participant in your own healing.
Mm.
It's not about passively reading or listening.
Uh-huh.
It's about engaging with the material, reflecting on your own experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and taking ownership of your journey.
It's like these prompts provide a map,
Right.
but you're the one choosing the path, the pace, and the destination.
Absolutely.
It's empowering. Now, before we wrap up part 1 of this deep dive, I want to leave you with something to ponder.
Okay.
One prompt asks, what would you tell your future self about this healing journey? It's a powerful invitation to connect with your inner wisdom
Yeah.
and offer yourself guidance and support from a place of greater understanding.
It's like writing a letter to your future self,
Mm-hmm.
reminding yourself of the strength you've shown, the challenges you've overcome,
Right.
and the lessons you've learned along the way.
It's a beautiful reminder that even though healing can be challenging, you're not alone in this journey. We'll be back in part 2 to continue exploring these prompts and delve deeper into the nuances of healing from trauma.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep diving deep.
Yeah, keep diving. Welcome back to our deep dive into these 50 trauma journaling prompts. So before we kind of dove into this next section, we were talking about, understanding your trauma, processing that emotional pain, all very internal work.
Yeah.
And now we shift gears a bit with this category on rebuilding trust. It feels like we're starting to look outward towards relationships with ourselves and with others.
Yeah, you're right. It's a bridge between the inner work and how that translates into navigating the world around us.
Exactly.
I'm really drawn to this prompt that asks, what boundaries do you need to set to protect your healing?
Oh, interesting.
It seems to acknowledge that healing is vulnerable work,
Right.
and we need to be intentional about safeguarding that process.
What's important here is that setting boundaries isn't selfish.
Yeah.
It's an act of self-respect. Trauma can leave us feeling powerless, but setting boundaries is a way of taking back control. It's about communicating your needs and limits to others and honoring those boundaries even when it's challenging.
It's like building a safe haven for yourself, a space where you can heal without feeling pressured or overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
It makes me think about another prompt in this section. Who is someone you trust with your healing journey?
Ooh, yeah.
It highlights how important support is, that we don't have to do this alone.
Right. Isolation can be a big part of trauma's impact. But this prompt encourages you to think about who those safe people are in your life.
Yeah.
Who you can confide in, who will listen without judgment,
Right.
and who can offer encouragement along the way. It could be a friend, family member, therapist, or even a support group.
It's about building that circle of support.
Yeah.
Finding those people who can hold space for you as you navigate the ups and downs of healing.
And that brings us to the next category, letting go and moving forward.
Okay.
This seems to be where the rubber meets the road, right? We've done all this internal work, started to rebuild trust.
And now it's about actually moving forward.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we can't change the past, but we can choose how we relate to it.
Yeah.
Holding on to anger, resentment, or a desire for revenge can actually keep us trapped in the trauma.
Right.
Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or minimizing what happened.
Yeah.
It's about releasing its grip on your present and future.
One prompt that I found particularly powerful asks, what does closure look like for you in your healing journey?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think this is so important because closure can mean different things to different people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not always about receiving an apology or seeing justice served, although those things could be part of it for some people.
Yeah.
Sometimes closure is about reaching a place of acceptance,
Right.
finding peace within yourself, or simply deciding to move forward without needing a definitive resolution from external sources.
So it's really about defining closure on your own terms, like
Right.
recognizing that it's an internal process, not something that someone else can give you.
Which leads us to the prompt that asks, how do you recognize when you're ready to move on from a painful memory? It feels like there's a lot of wisdom in acknowledging that healing happens at its own pace.
Absolutely. There's no set timeline for healing, and it's important to honor your own process.
Yeah.
Sometimes we might feel ready to let go quickly, while other times it might take years or even decades to fully process and release those painful memories.
Right.
This prompt encourages you to check in with yourself, to pay attention to your own internal cues, and to trust your own intuition about when you're ready to take that next step.
It's like learning to listen to your inner compass, trusting that it will guide you in the right direction. And there's another prompt in this section that I found particularly thought-provoking.
Yeah, okay.
And it asks, what role does forgiveness play in letting go of your trauma? I think this can be a really complex and loaded question, especially when we're talking about trauma caused by another person.
Forgiveness is a deeply personal choice, and it's important to approach it with sensitivity and without any pressure. It's not about condoning or excusing harmful behavior.
Yeah.
It's about releasing the bitterness and resentment that can keep us stuck in the past. It's about recognizing that forgiveness is ultimately a gift we give to ourselves,
Right.
a way to free ourselves from the burden of anger and pain.
And sometimes the most important person to forgive is ourselves.
Absolutely.
Trauma can lead to a lot of self-blame and guilt, and learning to offer ourselves compassion and understanding can be a powerful part of the healing journey.
That's a beautiful insight. Forgiveness, in whatever form it takes, can be a catalyst for profound healing and growth.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what this whole process is about. It's about reclaiming your power, your voice, and your ability to live a full and meaningful life.
It's about moving from surviving to thriving, and these prompts provide such a valuable roadmap for that journey.
Now, before we move on to the final category,
Yeah.
I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier about closure being an internal process. One prompt that echoes that sentiment asks, what does inner peace look like for you as you heal from trauma? I think it's such a beautiful reminder that healing goes beyond addressing the external symptoms of trauma.
Right.
It's about cultivating a sense of inner peace and well-being.
It's about recognizing that true healing happens on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual.
Absolutely.
And cultivating inner peace is an essential part of that holistic healing process.
It's about finding ways to soothe your nervous system, calm your mind,
Yeah.
and connect with a sense of safety and stability within yourself.
It's like creating a sanctuary within yourself, a place where you can find refuge and solace no matter what's happening in the world around you.
Exactly. And it feels like that sense of inner peace is a foundation for embracing the final category of prompts, embracing healing and hope.
Absolutely. This last set of prompts really shifts our focus from the darkness of trauma to the possibility of a brighter future.
Right. It's about recognizing that even though trauma can leave deep scars, it doesn't have to define us.
Yeah. We have the power to heal, grow, and create a life filled with meaning and purpose.
It's about moving from a place of brokenness to wholeness, from surviving to thriving. And that's such a powerful message of hope for anyone who's been through trauma.
And it's important to remember that healing is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but by embracing self-compassion, patience, and perseverance, we can continue to move forward towards a brighter future.
Yeah.
These prompts offer a gentle guide for navigating that journey and discovering the immense strength and resilience that lies within each of us.
This has been such a rich and insightful exploration of these 50 trauma journaling prompts.
It really has.
I'm already feeling a renewed sense of hope and a deeper understanding of the power of self-reflection and self-compassion in the healing process. What about you?
I'm struck by how beautifully these prompts interweave the internal and external aspects of healing.
Yeah.
It's not just about processing emotions and memories.
Right.
It's about using those insights to rebuild trust, set boundaries.
And ultimately create a life that supports your well-being.
It's like taking those internal shifts and translating them into tangible actions and choices in the world around you. It's empowering.
Exactly. And that sense of empowerment is what fuels lasting healing. Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder. One prompt asks, what strengths have you discovered in yourself through your healing process? It's a beautiful invitation to recognize the incredible resilience you've already shown, to acknowledge the courage it takes to face your pain and commit to your own healing.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the midst of adversity, we can find incredible strength within ourselves.
Right.
And those strengths are what will carry us forward on this journey.
We'll be back in part 3 to continue exploring these prompts and delve deeper into the nuances of healing from trauma. Until then, keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of trauma journaling. So we explored a lot of ground already, from understanding our trauma to processing emotional pain, rebuilding trust, and learning to let go. Now, with this last set of prompts in the embracing healing and hope category,
Okay.
it feels like we're stepping into a brighter space,
Yeah.
focusing on the possibilities that emerge as we heal.
It's a shift from surviving to thriving.
Right.
From simply managing the pain to actively creating a life that feels aligned with our values and aspirations.
Yeah, and what's striking about these prompts is how they encourage a sense of agency, reminding us that we have choices in how we move forward.
Absolutely.
You're right. There's one prompt that asks, what does it mean to trust the healing process?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It feels like an acknowledgement that healing isn't always linear or predictable.
Right.
We might have setbacks, moments of doubt, times when it feels like we're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back.
Yeah.
But this prompt invites us to trust that even amidst those challenges, we're still moving in the right direction.
It's about surrendering to the journey, recognizing that healing unfolds in its own time and in its own way.
Yeah.
And it requires a healthy dose of self-compassion.
Yeah.
We need to be kind to ourselves, especially when we're feeling discouraged or overwhelmed.
Right.
It's about acknowledging our efforts, celebrating our progress, and remembering that Every step we take, no matter how small, is a step towards healing.
It's like being a gardener tending to a delicate plant.
Right.
We need to nurture it with patience, care, and understanding,
Yeah,
knowing that growth takes time and that there will be seasons of both blooming and dormancy.
that's a beautiful analogy. And speaking of nurturing, there's another prompt that asks, how can you continue to nurture your healing each day?
Okay.
It highlights the importance of integrating healing practices into our daily lives, making self-care a priority,
Mhm.
and creating a lifestyle that supports our well-being.
It's about finding those things that nourish us, whether it's spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones,
Mm.
engaging in creative pursuits, or simply taking a few moments each day to breathe deeply and connect with our bodies.
Yeah.
It's about making healing an ongoing practice, not just something we do in therapy or when we're feeling overwhelmed.
It's about weaving those threads of self-care into the tapestry of our lives.
I love that.
And it's not just about what we do, but also about how we think.
Right.
There's a prompt that asks, what positive affirmations can you use to support your healing journey?
Okay.
It reminds us of the power of our thoughts and beliefs in shaping our reality.
Yeah, positive affirmations can be so powerful in rewiring our brains
Right.
and shifting our perspectives.
It's about replacing those negative self-talk patterns with messages of hope, strength, and resilience.
Absolutely. It's about reminding ourselves that we are worthy of healing, that we have the inner resources to overcome challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and that we are capable of creating a brighter future for ourselves.
And sometimes the most powerful messages of hope come from our future selves.
Yeah.
There's a prompt that asks, what would you tell your future self about this healing journey?
That's a really good one.
It's a beautiful invitation to step outside of the immediacy of our pain and offer ourselves words of wisdom, encouragement, and support from a place of greater understanding and perspective.
It's like writing a letter to our future selves, acknowledging how far we've come,
Yeah.
recognizing the strength we've shown, and offering ourselves reassurance that we will continue to heal and grow.
It's a beautiful way to connect with our own inner wisdom,
Right.
to remind ourselves that we're not alone in this journey.
And it can be so empowering to receive that message of hope and encouragement from our future selves,
Yeah.
especially during those times when we're feeling lost, overwhelmed, or discouraged.
Right.
It's a reminder that we have the strength to get through this, that healing is possible, and that a brighter future awaits us.
It's like having a wise and compassionate guide within ourselves, always there to offer support and guidance.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive into the world of trauma journaling,
Okay.
I want to touch on one final prompt that really resonated with me. What are you most looking forward to as you heal? It feels like a powerful reminder that healing is not just about addressing the pain of the past, but also about creating a future filled with joy, connection, and fulfillment.
It's about moving from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance,
Yeah.
from simply surviving to truly thriving.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming your power, your voice, and your ability to create a life that feels meaningful and authentic to who you are.
It's about recognizing that healing is a journey, not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
And along that journey, there will be moments of joy, laughter, love, and connection.
Yeah.
There will be opportunities for growth, expansion, and transformation.
Right.
And there will be a deepening sense of gratitude for the strength and resilience you've shown in the face of adversity.
It's about embracing the full spectrum of human experience with all of its complexities and contradictions. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of healing, of love, of joy, and of a life that feels full and vibrant.
This has been such an insightful and inspiring exploration of these 50 trauma journaling prompts.
It really has.
I'm walking away with a renewed sense of hope and a deeper understanding of the power of self-reflection and self-compassion in the healing process.
Me too. And remember, dear listener, you are not alone in this journey. Healing is possible, and you have everything you need within you to move towards a brighter future.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful, insightful, and inspiring. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep believing in the power of your own healing journey.